What is up, everybody? It is your local Ottawa fan. I am here today to talk to you about the 39-28 loss to the Montreal Alouettes. The expected result. Don't know what else to say. I gotta say, if you watched my last video, I'm happy that we scored 28 points. I am. On it. That's better. Like 39-28. If you told me that before the game, I would have been satisfied. Genuinely. Like, it's sad, but yeah, like, the anger's kind of gone. You know, we are clearly in next season mode. Tyree Adams looked okay for his first game back after, 2 years of not playing. First game starting again. I thought he was all right. Don't get me wrong, 3 picks that were pretty back-breaking. Like, not the best. Had a few dud moments. You know what? I can chalk that up to rust. He had 3 touchdown passes. More than I could say about any other quarterback we've had throughout a good chunk of the season. This was a game where, very reminds me of, a lot of those quarterbacks where they will throw a lot of picks but also can get you some big moments. He tried for the long ball. He tried a few and succeeded on a few deep passes. Something that this team has nothing of. Yes, we had a perfect example of it. I think it was to Braylon Addison, and it was like a 30-yard pass. We went from midfield to at their 20. Then with a penalty on top afterwards, it became first and 5 at their 15, and then he threw a pick. But it's like you get some, you lose some, and this is where I talk about the flow of the game. Other quarterbacks, they don't throw that 20, 30-yard pass. They throw a 2 to 3 yard pass, and then the pick is at midfield instead of in the end zone. It's still bad, but for the momentum of the game, at least gives your defense a lot more room to play with. It gives them the ability to give up a 30-yard play and still not have the team be in immediate field goal range 100% of the time, which is where we were before. Which is where we usually were, where any big play was just instantly in scoring range because our offense could not move the ball. The offense kind of moved the ball. Not a lot, but hey, 300 yards of offense, 28 points. I get that, of those 28 points, 15 of them came in garbage time. Do not get me wrong. I totally get that. But I'll take 15 points in garbage time than 0. And they at least, for the briefest of moment, made it a game. With a minute and a half left in the game, it wasn't fully decided. We gave ourselves a heartbeat. Now, do I agree with the decision of the onside kick a second time? No, I thought the first onside kick was exemplary. I'm like, it's the exact time to do it. You can surprise them with an onside kick, a little bit of a surprise, but not fully. However, you're in a situation where you're down by 2 scores. There's not a lot of time left. You need to score. You need to go, and you need to go quick. So you might as well. You might as well try because you have nothing to lose if you fail. I felt the second time we actually had something to lose if we fail because we are down 8 points. If you do not successfully recover the onside kick, and there's a minute and a half left. I get it. No timeouts. But there's about a minute and a half left. If they recover the ball, even if you get a 2 and out, like we did, it becomes a field goal attempt, which they ultimately succeeded and made it a 39-28 game, meaning our final drive was a fruitless endeavor. If they missed the field goal, and it was a rouge, it went out the back of the end zone, and they were close enough that a missed field goal probably would have been a rouge, a very good chance. They're up 9. It's still game. It's still a 2-score game. So you're basically relying on a blocked field goal versus if you kick it regularly, yes, they're going to run the clock, but they're going to go with running plays. No team is going to be up 8 points in their own territory with less than 2 minutes to go and throw the ball unless somebody is wide open. Which, knowing how we played all day today, there probably would have been somebody wide open. But you keep it on the ground. You try to eat up as much clock as possible. And while, yes, it likely results in a 2 and out, you hope that when you kick it back to us, we get it with bad field position. But they kicked it back to us after field goal anyways. So the way I see it is, the hope is you're going to waste the same amount of time, which is as little as possible. Your defense is going to get the 2 stops, and then they're going to kick the ball right back to you. And I get if you get the onside kick, you got the ball, you have a chance to drive down the field and tie it. But, I mean, you did it once already. Doing it a second time, that's getting too cute with it. And we had enough time where, they'd take a knee. They would get the ball, and there's no running clock, first and second. They'd take a knee, or they run the play. They run a play, and assuming that they run the same plays as they ran when they were in our end, we can assume that they would get to third down. I think there was about 30-ish seconds left, where we would get the ball with actual life, with 30 seconds to try to score a potentially game-tying touchdown. And instead, it's just, giving them the win by doing an onside kick and failing. But, you know what? When we lined up for that onside kick, there was a chance. There is a hypothetical universe where we win this game, right? Where if everything goes right, you recover the onside kick, you march in the field, you score the touchdown, you get the 2-point conversion, it goes to overtime, and then you win. And these past games, there's been no point in the final 3 minutes where I thought we had, more than a 0% chance of winning. And you know what? In the last 2 minutes of the game, my dad was asking me, I went with my dad, and he was asking me what chances of winning were, and I said 1%. And that is sad that this is a good thing, but it was a good thing. We went into the half down a touchdown. That was a good thing. I was like, oh, wow, this is a lot better. We're down 16-10. That's way, way better than where I thought they would be. For most teams, that's bad. Most teams don't want to be going into the half down by 6. This is where we're at. It is clear what this is. Put some postage. We've clinched last place. Put some postage on this. Get ready for the offseason. Do you know what mode I'm in? Do you know what mood I'm in? I'm excited for Charge Hockey. That's where I'm at this point. I'm just excited for Ottawa Charge Hockey. I'm excited to make Grey Cup predictions, looking like the East is a pretty kind of clear. Hamilton's going to be first overall. I know maybe Montreal. Be for real, we're not beating Hamilton. Hamilton has something to play for against us. And honestly, we have nothing to play for. Even Pride at this point. What Pride? We're dead last in the league, irregardless. Toronto, as I'm making this video, is getting decimated by Calgary. That's why I'm in the proper full getup. It's because I came from the game, not because I'm so enthused. No, Toronto's getting decimated as we speak. And even if they get this is, I believe, their last game of the season. And even if we win against Hamilton, guess what? We are still dead last. They still hold the tiebreaker on us. We are the worst team in the CFL this year. Guaranteed. We could beat Hamilton by 50. We're the worst team in the league this year. Hamilton actually has something to play with. Hamilton is actually at risk of losing. And let me be clear. If by some miracle we beat them, they fully deserve to not be first in the East. Losing to the Red Blacks, yeah, then genuinely I would hope that they get eliminated in the East semis. You do not lose your last game of the season to the Red Blacks when a bye is on the line. It does, it just won't happen. I'm telling you. When we went to this game, it would have been funny, if we get to play spoiler to Montreal, no first round bye for you. We are going to play spoiler for Montreal when we lose to Hamilton. I'm still going to be cheering for us. I'm still going to root for the funny thing to happen, and oh my gosh, Hamilton, you lost, I, after the game, bumped into, I guess, your local Montreal fan, if you will. Somebody had a similar outfit to mine, but Montreal Alouettes. He asked for a picture, and I'm a good sport about these things. I get it. I think that's part of the fun of rivalries. I hate when rivalries are, genuinely vicious. There needs to be some ribbing. Yeah, and there kind of was. He wanted a picture of the scoreboard in the background. And look, I'm willing to take my lumps. I am a believer that if you won't wear this with pride when we lose, you don't deserve to wear it when we win. And one day the Red Blacks will be back. I don't know when. I don't know how old I'll be. I don't know how many white hairs are going to be in this beard and on this hair. It might all be white. The hair might be gone entirely. But at some point, the Red Blacks are going to win the Grey Cup again. The Red Blacks are going to be a good team again. They are going to be a feared team again. And when that happens, I will have been there the whole time. And no one's gonna be able to say anything about that. When I gloat, when I do the dipsy doodle pirouette, ooh, do the stanky leg, because my team's super duper good, because I'm taking my lumps while they're bad. That's how diehard fandom works, you know? And for bandwagon fans, I find that's why people don't like bandwagon fans. If you're doing the dipsy doodle, stanky leg, hokey pokey, when your team's good, and then you act like you aren't a fan when they're bad, no, nobody likes that. You don't get to be braggadocious if you're only there when they're good. What is there to brag about? Nothing. Because you aren't there when they're bad. But if you're a casual fan, you know, a bandwagoner, who's like, hey, my team won, like, I'm happy. Like, yeah, let's go. I'll go to the parade. Like, and then when they're bad, you're like, well, they're bad, so I guess I probably won't watch because they aren't doing too well. Yeah, fair. That's how a lot of fans are. That's how I am with some teams. Like, look, if the Atletico are doing terribly, if the Rapid are doing terribly, I'm not really going to watch. The Blackjacks, if they're going to miss the playoffs, they're dead last in the CEBL, I'm not going to turn on any games. But if they're doing pretty well, yeah, I'll watch some. And if, look, Atletico and Rapid right now, playoff run, if they win, I will be happy. I might even go to a playoff game for them. But I'm not going to act like it's my championship in the same way that it is for the fan who went to every single Rapid game, who knows every single player, who knows all the rules of football or soccer. I got a whole thing about how they're... I don't want to get into that right now. But it'd be different, right? For them, it'd be like, yeah, like they got the jerseys. They've been to the games. They are there up, down, good, bad. Awesome. They were there for the losses. They were there for the wins. And when they lost in embarrassing fashion and the other team was mocking them, they took it on the chin. So if they go ahead and they win the championship, it is all of their right to do the hokey pokey and turn themselves around. For me, I go, yeah, we won. I'm not going to jeer at the other fans. I'm not going to be like, oh, you lost, because like I'm not there for the other side of it. And I don't think that's fair. But, you know, when you're dressed in the full Alouettes gear like I am for the Red Blacks, look, there were some 2016, you want to talk about 2016? Because I was doing the Dipsy Doodle in 2016, and I know that Buddy was probably watching that season, wasn't having too much fun. So, look, I can take it with, you know, some jovialness. I can have fun with it. And I said to him, hey, look, you know, I'm going to hope for you to get first overall, but just so you know, you aren't going to get it. We're losing to Hamilton. And he laughed and he said, yeah, we'll cheer for you, but you're right. Like, that's where we're at. Everybody knows the state of this team. Everybody knows what the expectation is. That's why I'm not, like, I want to be angry. I was angry, like, 3-4 weeks ago. Fifth loss in a row. We've been eliminated. Our second week in a row eliminated. Where we're just playing to maybe play spoiler. 3 straight games that are just completely meaningless. The last game is as meaningless as it gets. An away game where we've already finished dead last and that can't change. And we're out of the playoffs. So, what do we have? Oh, and like all of our quarterbacks are out with injury. Put some postage on this. Get ready for the offseason. Montreal, right out the gate. We forced a punt, then we punt, and then they move the ball. They make it 7-0. We get a good return. We're at our 44. Go nowhere. Punt the ball. Big sack on second down to make it 3rd and 22nd, and then we give up a huge play on 2nd and 8. It's 13-0 like that. Hey, at least they bobbled the snap. We get another great return. We're at the Montreal 50. We need a score re-punt. It's a good punt. We pin them like at their 3. And what do you think happens? They move all the way down to midfield. And they fake the punt and we get a stop. And this is where other teams in the league, you know, that is a momentum shifting moment. They faked the punt and they failed. And now we have the ball. They were pinned at the 3. When you pin somebody at the 3, the expectation is if your defense does their job, you'll get the ball close to midfield. They brought the ball to midfield. If they punted, we would have been pinned deep in our territory if we didn't give up a rouge. And instead, we got the ball at midfield anyways. And we got a good drive. We make it a game. We score. It's 13-7. It's a 1-score game all of a sudden. Montreal is driving, but a sack and a tackle for a loss. It forces a field goal. It's 16-7. And we get a huge catch from Addison. This is, like I said, we get down to their 20. We score here. Maybe it's a different game. We don't. We throw a pick. But our defense gets a stop. We get the ball back. We kick a field goal. 16-10 at the half. And after that, just things go completely haywire. First play from scrimmage in the second half. Turnover. And our defense forces a field goal. But it is 19-10. And we're immediately down 2 scores to start the second half. We go nowhere. We sack. We're punt. And we give up another field goal. It is 22-10. Again, our defense does a lot of that bend not break kind of thing where, you know, they don't give up the touchdown, but they give up a lot of field goals, and that adds up. You look at all the field goals they scored, they won by 11. That makes a huge difference, especially in how you're playing the game late, in the decisions that you're making. You know, the difference between being down, 11 and being down even 8 is huge with the final few seconds of the game. Down 8 with 12 seconds left at the 40 is a legitimate Hail Mary attempt. Down 11 is whatever, who cares? Game's over. And yeah, it's 22-10. And then, we get to midfield, we punt. Montreal moves the ball, but a second down sack forces a punt. And we throw yet another pick. And they score a touchdown, and that puts the game really to bed. 29-10 is... They score the winning points in the third quarter. And when it was 29-10, that's when, there was the mass exodus. Yes, we got a field goal, but they take no time at all. 36-13. We get the field goal to make it 29-13. Ooh, 16 points. They take it all the way. 36-13. And only then do we make it, 36-21. With the 2-point conversion, and then we get the onside kick, and we drive, 3rd and goal, we take a penalty at the 1-yard line, but it doesn't matter. Attaboy, touchdown, 1-score game, onside kick fails, and we lose. It was interesting for a second there. We know, that's the thing. Nobody's getting fired today, tomorrow, next week. Friday is when our season ends. I wouldn't be surprised if Saturday is when the news comes in that we're cleaning house. That it's top to bottom. It wouldn't surprise me. I think it's warranted. Everybody knows that's what's coming, but we're in this limbo period of we gotta just get through it. It's like the worst place to be in as a fan. You want to know my predictions? Saskatchewan I do think is coming out of the east or the west. I do think that it's going to be Saskatchewan. My hot take, my flaming hot, scorching hot, nuclear level take is that Winnipeg is coming out of the east. Yeah, I said it. I think Winnipeg is actually going to come out of the east. I think Winnipeg is going to have, they're going to have a lot to play for, but Calgary has 10 wins. Winnipeg can only get up to 9. Calgary doesn't have 2. I'm pretty sure they hold the tiebreaker on BC. So I don't think they're going to have too much to play for against BC. And if I'm right, that's who they play. They play BC if my memory serves me right. So I'm pretty confident that they might not go too crazy. There's a good chance that next week we're going to basically get 2 precursor playoff games. And I think Winnipeg is going to be the East team, and I do think they will get through. I think whoever from the West crosses over, I think that they win the West. I think that BC is maybe going to be able to take down Saskatchewan. They've looked really good lately. I still think that the West is Saskatchewan's to lose. If BC crosses over to the East, I think they win the Grey Cup. Otherwise, I see Saskatchewan, Winnipeg. The Banjo Bowl becomes the big one. The big bowl. It becomes the Grey Cup game in Winnipeg. Everybody wants to see that. I mean, that would just be an awesome game. One of the most historied rivals in this league. Battling for supremacy, for the championship. A 6th appearance by Winnipeg in Winnipeg would be nuts. And I think that crowd momentum would do just enough to barely beat Saskatchewan. But even then, That is a barely. I think that if Saskatchewan just gets to a good start, they'll put it away. So yeah, my prediction is Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, and Saskatchewan will win if they score on the first drive. If they score on their first drive, they win. If they don't, if Winnipeg gets a stop on Saskatchewan's first drive, I think Winnipeg's going to win by like 3. Those are my predictions. I think BC though is a dark horse. And again, it's the playoffs. You never know. Kind of stinks. Like Ottawa and Edmonton out again. Like wow. Oh, what else is new? Let's just look to the next season. Hopefully, lots of changes are made, and hopefully things actually look different next year. Hey, for a while, people were sick and tired of Edmonton, Calgary, and Ottawa being so competitive for so long. I know now those days are in the rear view. One day they're gonna be back. This stinks that this is where we are right now. One more Red Blacks video and I'm in charge mode. I'm in go charge go mode. And as always, go Ottawa go.